This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's see who gets on here tonight. Damn, you jumped up on here quick, fam. Fresh boy. All I said was, what's up? Was y'all waiting on me to get on here or something? What's going on? Y'all was waiting on me to get on here? Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? I know, it has been a while. Rod Watson. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm coming up on here laughing right out the gate because I didn't even know if I was going to actually even get on here or not. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm rocking you see I got the little star right there at the top. And I got the little decorations and stuff, little cowrie shells on there, honey. Y'all see it? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And my daughter did my nails. So check that out. Like the marble joints. She did them joints too. And these are my nails. These are not press-ons. These are mine. But yeah. Then we did the cat's eye. So she's supposed to do a different design on these. I don't know what she's doing, honey. You see my crown, honey? I came on here. Yes, very nice, baby. They look like Earth. They look cosmic. They look like Earth, don't they? They look like the Earth. Those joints is dope. She's very talented. Very, very talented. Oh my goodness. I'm giggling and I'm in such a good mood because you guys, listen, first of all, I had to play with somebody just a couple minutes ago. I'm sorry. I had to play with somebody just a couple minutes ago and I'm laughing about it because it's funny as hell. It's funny as hell. It's funny. I am a magical goddess. So sometimes I like to play with people. Send a little energies here and there. Zam! One of the realest out here. What's going on? It's been a minute, y'all. I know. I have been off the grid, but I want to share with you guys and tell y'all what's been going on with me, okay? You like the color? Yeah, because I wanted to do something different. Okay. This is my fiery look. Okay, honey. Look like flames, honey. Okay. Because you know I'm a fire sign, so it gets a little spicy over here. Okay. I am feeling myself, honey. I am doing well at Jazzy. Thank you. So I wanted to share some things with you guys today because I know you guys are wondering what the hell's going on with Isis. What the hell's going on with her? Okay. Is this a Save the Live or a Wild Out Live? No, I'm going to save the live. I'm not going to be wilding out today. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to wild out. I'm not even in that space. I'm really just in a space of just wanting to share energy with you guys. That's all. Just wanted to share energy with you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the compliments. Thank you so much. What you guys are witnessing is me really coming into my fullness and my wholeness. This is what you guys are actually witnessing. And I wanted to share this message with you guys because over the past couple of weeks, the reason why you guys haven't seen me is because I was working on a big trauma, right? A big trauma. And I was doing a lot of work with the shadows. I called them a shadow forth. Really just digging down and going deep into it. And I want to let you guys know that some of you guys are tapped in, but some of you guys may feel like that you're having a hard time tapping into getting certain information that you need access to. If you're having a hard time getting access to the information, it's only because you did not go deep enough within your healing in order for you to tap in to get access to the information. Okay. It's going to require you to go deeper. And some of you guys, I know you've been doing shadow work and things like that, but it's going to require you to go deeper and to continue to move out that dense energy for you to get access. Okay. I wanted to share that with you guys because I don't think that those things are talked about when people say that they want to get access to their powers, or they want to get access to certain information, or they want to get access to higher parts of themselves. I think that needs to be discussed because it's almost like a how-to. How do I get access to this, and these different parts of myself, or getting access to these different aspects of myself, or access to different parts of information of self? Okay. And so I wanted to share that with you. It is going to require you to go deeper. It's going to require you to go deeper in your healing. Okay. And that's what I did. And when I was addressing those wounds, man, like the way I really needed to address them, I got a lot of revelations from that. And in the process of me getting a lot of these revelations, that also caused me to shift the way that I was moving with people. It caused me to shift some things around and address some things, address a few folks, and make some adjustments and some corrections. So now that I've addressed these certain things, I feel like my whole self. And that's what healing does. It brings out your full self. So now you're starting to see this exude from me in the physical. Okay, that's what you're seeing. I am truly in the stage called the bliss era. The bliss era, or the era of bliss, or the stage of bliss. And so I've cleared out a lot of things out. So now I can experience bliss. So that's why you see me smiling so much. Big Leo Mama. Yes, 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 yes. Zeph, what's going on, fam? I didn't even notify anybody I was going live or nothing. Yes, the lashes is popping, honey. I'm just truly in my goddess era, man. Like I can't explain it. I'm in my goddess era. Just heavy creative energy right now. Heavy. You look lighter and freeing. Thank you so much. And I'm really heavily tapping into the inner child. So I'm like playing now. I'm playing around. because I'm in my inner child. So inner child got me playing around. So I'm playing. I'm messing with people. I'm messing with people right now. Thank you, Queen of the Hilltop. I appreciate you. Nancy in here? Where's Nancy at? You like my earrings, baby? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. 2222. I appreciate y'all. I'm actually not going to be on here that long. I just want to come in here and share the energy with y'all because of how I'm feeling. I'm just really in a playful mood. You ever get in a playful mood and you just want to play? It's like your inner child's just hanging all out and you just want to play. That's how I've been feeling these days. I'm still working ice. This damn crab's chasing me in my dreams. What? Da Vinci Code 6. What the heck? This thing, right? Notification I needed. Love your nails. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. My daughter did these. I'm just playing around. That's another thing too. My expressive creative self, honey. Let me tell you something. I'm just being as expressive and as creative as I want to be right now. I don't even give a damn. Y'all seeing colored hair, honey. Y'all gonna see a whole lot more stuff going on with me, okay? You're gonna see a whole lot more stuff going on with me. Because I'm just in that space. I'm just in that space of bliss. Getting away from all that. How many of you guys have worked on some of your wounds and then you reflect back on certain things you were doing and then you're like cringing, like, oh my God, was I that person? Did I do that? How many of you guys have done this? I've been trying telekinesis, but now I know I need to go deeper. Yes. Yes. Expressing yourself. Yes. Yes. And I got some very powerful telepathic abilities too. If I want to talk to somebody, I'm going to communicate to you telepathically as well. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. Yeah, she said, Ladae said embarrassing. Yes, girl. Yes. Now see, when you go deeper in your healing, not only do you get access to information that you're trying to get access to, but you also get access to the gifts, other gifts that you didn't even know that you had. And yeah, I've just been out here just so cringe, laughing my ass off. Ooh wee, them telegifts so strong, girl. Yes. Oh, Kaveen Lau. Yes. Okay. Me, I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? Nah, it's just about the healing. Y'all, I'm going to share something with y'all, man. I mean, I had like a lot of, because if you don't know about aspects that make you whole as a person, you don't know these things, right? If you have past life karma, that is a dense energy that needs to be cleared from your past life. It's a dense energy. And also what I discovered too, is that when a person goes through traumas or they have wounds that they haven't healed from, did you know that those things can actually affect your gifts? So I'm doing a lot of quantum healing. That's why I created the Quantum Shadow Work course, because it's quantum healing where you actually, when you start going through certain techniques within my course, you literally start not only releasing the dense energy, but also healing those parts of yourself that's been damaged. Like literally seeing visuals of like lacerations that I may have had in one of my bodies and literally elevating parts of myself energetic wise while doing the shadow work and seeing those things literally heal up in real time. That makes sense. Yes. It clears out a lot of things. That's why my class is so dope. y'all have no idea how many people tried to get in that quantum shadow work course and how many people I had to turn away because Source wasn't approving them. Source is like, nah. Yeah, them, yeah. Send them to the beginners quantum shadow course. They can't get in this one. They ain't ready for this one yet. And I see it because of how intense it is. There's a lot of intense people don't like to go deep within their healing. People tend to jump around certain things. Like one of the things I taught in my class was about the core reasonings why a person does the things that they do. When I was talking to some of my students and I was asking them, I said, name me 3 boundaries that you allowed to be crossed. Name me 3. And they give me the core reasons behind why you did it. It was deep within the class because the responses that I was getting from that, some of them were jumping. And I said, now I'm going to know if you give me bullshit. Because I know what it means to go to the core self. That's when you admit the certain truths about yourself that you feel is too cringy for you to admit. When you go that route, yeah, that. When you're too afraid to admit that. Well, the real reason why that I did these actions or allowed my boundaries to be crossed was because I was looking for love that my mother didn't give me. That's a core truth. And on a subconscious level, I was allowing my boundaries to be crossed because I was trying to get it any way that I thought I could receive it. That's a core truth. Now, that's cringy as hell when you think about it. But when you deal with things on that level, on a core truth level, it hurts. Because the goal in shadow work here, and I'm going to school y'all about something. The goal in shadow work is not for you to go and relive your experiences. The goal in shadow work is for you to come to some self-realizations about yourself and why you did the things that you did or why you went through the experiences that you went through. That's what this is about. It's not about reliving the experiences, but those self-realizations hit different. So clingy, so cringy and embarrassing. Yes, but check it. Think about it like this too. Keep in mind that nobody else is judging you. You're only judging yourself. Because there's not a single person out here that doesn't need healing, that didn't go through some things, that didn't experience traumas. So you also have to take in consideration that people sometimes get so worried about expressing certain things because they're worried about how people are going to judge them, never take into account that the person themselves are simply judging themselves. Remember what I said, 95% of your body is controlled via the subconscious mind. Remember that. So you got to take consideration, you're making certain moves based on subconscious. And you're allowing your wounds to guide you. You're allowing your wounds to make choices and decisions for you. This is 90% of the reason why, ladies, and I want y'all to hear me on this. This is 90% of the reason why that a lot of these masculines out here have a hard time choosing the correct women for themselves because they can't discern. In order for you to discern, you have to heal properly, or you're going to miss the woman that actually was for you. And I've seen it play out so many times over and over again, and they don't figure this out until the woman walks out of their life. And they're no longer there. Because they take that for granted because they weren't shown from the mother how to properly deal with a divine feminine. If you don't have that type of training growing up as a young man, and vice versa, if the woman doesn't have that type of doesn't have that type of training growing up as a young lady from her father, she's not going to know what to look for when she goes out here and she starts dating men. If she suffered some type of trauma or he suffered from some type of trauma from either of the parents, and that trauma wasn't addressed and that trauma wasn't healed, they're not going to know how to properly be able to identify and properly discern how to choose the partner that is for them. In most cases, because the wounds are choosing for them, they're going to gravitate towards individuals that are either went through the same things that they went through, which is a trauma bond. Like, I can relate to you because you went through this trauma and I went through this trauma, so therefore we can come together and get together. That's a trauma bond. That's one thing you don't want to have, is a trauma bond. You don't want that. But it's a mother, when those wounds choose for you, because then you find yourself getting into situations that you have no business being in. And you're like, how did I get here? What the hell? Why is this person in my life? What is this person showing me? Because the person that's in your life is nothing more than a reflection. They're reflecting back to you. Everybody that's in your life is a reflection of you. But I'm going to share something with y'all. Fellas, if you don't heal from the mother wound, you're going to attract women in your life who are just like your mama. Or there's going to be some parts of her that's going to be in that partner that you choose. Ladies, if you don't heal from that father wound, you are going to choose partners that are going to reflect back to you your father. So if your father was emotionally unavailable, that's the man you're going to attract. If your father didn't protect you, that's the man you're going to attract. If your father did different things, that's the man you're going to attract, and you don't even know why. And then you find yourself being in this situation, right, where you're feeling like you have to, because you didn't get the love from the parents that you needed, right? You fighting for that on a subconscious level through the person that you're in the relationship with. You're fighting for that person to love on you, but you don't realize you attracted your damn parents. So the man's going to be, he's not going to be emotionally available. He's going to remind you of your father, but you don't realize consciously that's what's happening. You don't see that. So next thing you know, you find yourself in these positions with these men that are not emotionally available to you. And you stick it out with him, and you don't even know why you're sticking it out with him, and you fall in love with him and all this other stuff, but you don't understand what's really happening here. Chaotic calm, it's shadow work. You don't realize this is what you're doing. So I want you guys tonight to think about this. Think about the relationships you're currently in right now. Ask yourself, how does the relationship that you're in, how does it emotionally benefit you? How does it benefit you in your heart space? How does another person show up for you, and do you show up for yourself the way you expect somebody else to show up for you? Because if you have an expectation for somebody that you're in a relationship with to show up for you, and they can't do it, the first question you have to ask yourself is, how did you show up for you? Because remember, you're going to teach everybody around you how to treat you based upon how you treat yourself. That's going to require you to set boundaries with individuals. And in some cases, it's going to require you to set hard boundaries with individuals to let them know they can't play with you like that. So when you sit back and you think about it, like, how did I get here? Okay, what is this person reflecting back to me? Because I don't feel very good right now. Because when you suffer from abandonment wounds from your mother or your father, that didn't make you feel very good. Now, take a look at your partner. Does your partner, when they're not emotionally available to you or they're not available to you, does it remind you of a feeling you had when you was younger? when one of your parents wasn't around or couldn't be there for you the way you needed them to be there, or they couldn't show up for you, or you weren't seen, or you weren't heard? Did it remind you of what you've been through before? Because if you're able to identify that, then you got to take a step back and say, hold up, hold up. What I do here? I did something. I created something. I did something here that I should not have done. Now, ladies, sometimes it's hard to let go, though. It's only hard to let go because you ain't loved yourself enough. What are you holding on to? Because if you can't hold on to yourself, you ain't got no business holding on to anything else. What are you holding on to? At Devontae, what are you holding on to? A lie? Ladies, let me ask y'all a question. How many times did you find yourself getting into a relationship with a man that probably had less than you, or he didn't have himself together the way that he should have, right? And you look at him, he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, right? He has shown you a little bit of disrespect. Not a lot, but a little bit of disrespect in various different ways. Maybe not by calling you out your name or nothing like that, but just doing shit like just not following through on his word. He'll tell you something, he don't follow through on his word. He'll talk a good game like, I got you, this, that, and the third, and he may need some help. He may need some help financially. He may need some help with whatever it is he's struggling, and you got feelings for this guy, and you see potential within him, and you want him to be where you are. Now, mind you, you already got your shit together. Ladies, listen to me carefully. You already got your shit together. You've already been established. Okay? You already know how to do your thing. You don't want to be alone. That's a core truth about why you're dealing with him in the first place, but you know he's not matching you on the level. But you don't necessarily see that right away because you're thinking this person's going to get it together, so you find yourself doing little things with that person. You know what I'm saying? That person may say, I need some money. You might give them a little bit of money to help them out. You hear me, ladies? Listen to me carefully. Now, you know you're operating on a different level from him, but you're hoping that he's going to get to the level of where you are. So you stick it out with him for a little while. Meanwhile, he's still showing different things about himself, such as when it's time for him to receive certain things, he shows up for it. But when it comes time for him to do certain things for you, he's ghost, or it's half-assed, or he'll be consistent to some degree, but not all the way consistent. How many of y'all can relate to this? Marcy said, why are you reading me? Okay. But you see the potential. You're talking to the brother, you're giving him pep talks and shit, you're showing him shit, you know what I'm saying, pointing things out for him to understand your point of view of where you're at. And then one day something hits you because you're in your healing mode. You're in your healing mode. You get into healing. That's why dudes be saying, I hate talking about this type of stuff. As soon as she starts healing, she starts seeing all the flaws. When you start healing, that is when you start to see all the flaws. But the first place you see all the flaws is within self. Because you got to understand, it's not about him. It's about what you allowed. And you start to trace back to healing. Trace back shit to your traumas and shit. Like, what the hell? Remember now, you trying to fight to get this dude to where you are instead of coming to a self-realization that maybe, just maybe, son isn't ready for what you have to offer. And you coming into a place of acceptance about that. That's okay. Acceptance is key. I'm not messing with them. I don't play them dating app games. I don't play them type of games. The point I'm trying to make here is that when you're healing and you become whole in your healing, right? You start to see all the flaws within self And then you start to see the flaws within the individual, and you start realizing, oh, I made a mistake here. I created something I shouldn't have created. I initiated something that I should not have initiated. Oh, snap. Damn. Oh, let me fix that. You know what I'm saying? I got to fix that, because now that I'm spending time and I'm actually pouring into myself, and the more I pour into myself, the more I see it, the more I see that this ain't going to work. Because now I'm a different person now, because I didn't shift it out. And it doesn't mean that you love the person any less. It's just that you just decide to love yourself more. And once you made the conscious decision to love yourself more, you start assessing what's good for you and what's not good for you, then it requires you to make change. And so, ladies, I wanted to bring that to your attention about you can't bring individuals up to where you are, not even your family. And this goes for everybody here. Okay? I had cosmic family members that I was trying to bring up to where I'm at. But I have really, since the healing has been taking place, as heavy as it's been taking place, I'm really seeing some things from my past up to this current point, where I'm really just coming to a place of acceptance, of accepting people exactly where they are. Now, what does that mean when you accept the person where they are? You accept the person where they are. It doesn't mean you love them any less, but you set boundaries and standards about what you're willing to have around you and what you're not willing to have around you. Because the truth of the matter is, individuals who aren't healing will make it bad for everybody else around them, and they won't realize that's what they're doing. People that are in unhealed states tend to undermine those who are actively healing, because they want to see things their way and don't want to see things as is. And they'll have a problem with anybody outside of them that is in direct opposition or does not have the same opinion or the same viewpoint that they may see. Now, some kind of reason, because proper communication isn't being had from the individuals who aren't healed, now they got a problem with you. But you're not the problem. They're actually the problem. You're not the problem. And don't take on other people's shit that don't belong to you, and do not internalize anyone else's projections because it don't belong to you. You got to reverse that shit and send it back, return to sender, honey. I'm like, no, I believe this is yours. You can have this back, and you need to go do some shadow work. And stop making me the object of your issues when the truth of the matter is you haven't healed enough. Let me tell y'all something. When you are not healed enough in that heart space, your discernment is going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged. And it's going to continue to be challenged because you have not done enough work on yourself. And it's going to require, and avoidance ain't going to help you. Y'all love to avoid yourselves and love to avoid real things that's happened to you. Avoidance is not going to help you in that. Do not mistake, and I want y'all to listen to me very carefully, because some of y'all are very talented for the things that you do. Some of you guys are tapped in, some of you guys are talented, but I want to make something very clear, because I don't want there to be any confusion. Because this is the confusion that my first family made. Mistake that they made. Do not confuse skill sets with healing and wisdom. You can have all the skill sets and be able to tap into people and all that type of shit all day. But then you can't discern as well as you think you can. For those of you out here channeling shit like that, If you didn't heal properly, you're going to be talking a false light, thinking you're talking to who you're talking to, and you ain't talking to who you think you're talking to. Knowing your own energy, knowing the energy of your ancestors and your guides is imperative. And your higher selves, knowing their energy. But if you are struggling in certain areas of your healing, I don't give a damn how many times you practice in your discernment. It's going to be flawed every single time. Because there's parts of your healing or parts of yourself that needs to heal that you need to be able to tap into that you're not able to fully tap into because you have not dealt with those darker things that's happened to you in your life. And so it blocks you and you'll get distorted information. Okay? Even if you're reading the Akashic records, you can get that shit wrong. You get it wrong. If you're not properly healing, you can get it wrong. Being in this space is not about ego. It's not about competition. People that think like that, they got a long way to go in their healing. It ain't about none of that. And I've seen a lot of that play out. People trying to undermine. I've had family members trying to undermine me, my gifts, my skill set, my wisdom. And those family members are no longer with me no more. And they're still operating in the same low vibrational spaces they've been operating on since I kept it pushing. Still mad at me because I held them to a standard. And the standard was, in order for you to be in my life, you must be healing actively. That is a boundary and a hard one. You can't, if you ain't healing, I'll holler back. It's okay. I accept the fact that you're not healing, but you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell on up out of here. That's it. You cannot be anywhere near me because your lack of healing is disruptive to everybody else. Your lack of healing got you out here spiritually attacking people. Your lack of healing got you going around here gossiping people. Your lack of healing got you out here betraying people that showed up for you and that helped you. Your lack of healing is dangerous to my life. Your lack of healing is dangerous to others who are healing. Your ass got to go. Y'all got to go. Hard ass boundaries. And let me tell you something. When you set a hard boundary with people that aren't healed, oh, they get mad. They want to team up on you. They want to talk about you. They want to say all this and say all that. And once you start going down that road, because again, the subconscious mind is controlling the actions, right? Because the wounds is talking. That's the wounds talking. That's the traumas talking. You have to be able to observe instead of reacting now. And seeing that for what it is. That's those wounds. That's that trauma talking. And you can tell based upon the person taking actions that does not say or indicate that they're healing. Communication being one of them. If you have a problem with someone, you need to open up your mouth and you need to communicate and you need to talk to that individual and let them know what your issue is. And for those of you that do not have the ability to communicate, guess what? That is because there's some shit going on with your healing that you haven't dealt with yet. So when you say to me, oh, I've done shadow work, and then I sit down and confront you and say, let's have a conversation, and all of a sudden you had a bunch of saying until I sat down in front of you and now you have nothing to say. That is a testimony to your lack of healing. Because people who are actively healing understand you must express. Express, express, express. Holding in your feelings is going to hold this energy in and keep you in the same negative cycle, and you're going to create simulations for yourself, meaning experience for yourself that you didn't ask for, and you're trying to figure out why these simulations are happening. In other words, why you're having these experiences, because you refuse to do the thing that you were instructed to do a long time ago, which is to heal and not jumping and skipping over certain parts, or going lightly or not going deep enough, trying to figure out why you can't get access to certain things. You know why. It's because you're on some bullshit with your healing. Period. We're in a different time period now. Someone said, have a heart of a child. Children don't hold grudges. They express everything. Boom. Evade what? That's slick with, what are you evading? DC BPM said, too much energy into lying, shaming each other, no growth whatsoever. That is correct. But that energy that you see that's happening, the shaming and all that people are doing, that's all coming from their wombs. Listen, I've been in this game long enough to fully understand what's really going on with folks. You guys, if you guys only understood the amount of spiritual attacks that come our way on a regular basis from people that are just simply jealous. They got self-hatred for themselves. Miserable. Not happy. Broke. No love in their life. Okay, just nothing. No happiness. And those individuals, you showed up for them. You try to show them a different way. And then you see that they're not healing, or they come in with the wrong intentions from the very beginning. They've never had any intentions to do any healing. Some people just want to get close to you just because of something they think that you have that they think that they need. And then as soon as you figure it out that that's what's going on, and you make a conscious decision to you got to move out the way. It's a problem. And you ain't even got no ill feeling towards folk. You over here in your own corner doing your own thing, but they want to be all the way over here focused on what you're doing. That's because misery loves company. People secretly wanted you to fall face first. Boom. That's it. I want you to do well, but I want you doing better than me, though. There's that. I'm going to spend all of my time and my money to pay off practitioners and figure out, do work myself and do all this and do all that. I'm like, damn, you niggas ain't tired of wasting your money? You ain't tired? Wasting your resources and shit, your own energy? You ain't tired? You know how exhausting that is to have to sit up here and put so much negative energy on a person to want to see their downfall, and then everything you do doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So they wasted their money. They want to do the same shit. This shit returns right back to them. So they suffer the very things that they try to send out to others. And you be sitting up there like, y'all ain't tired? You still there? Y'all still there? Meanwhile, we over here celebrating, elevating, and getting the hell on. Living our lives and being happy. I ain't going to be nobody's company. Boom. So I want to say to y'all that I want you to be mindful about why you have certain people in your life. Why are they there? Really sit down and do an inventory of everybody around you. And if you see that there's people around you that ain't got no business being around you, you got to send them on their way. Send them packing, honey, because they're not needed. That's unnecessary weight that you're carrying around. You got to send them on their way. Thank you for your time. Say this. Thank you for your time and your energy. I appreciate you. But this is where our journey ends. It ends right here. Our time is up. But I do appreciate you. Everybody can't go where you're going. And don't you dare bring them with, don't you dare try to bring these ragged ass folk with you. So you think that you're going to be alone, but that's further from the truth. Then we put limitations on the world itself and how we perceive and view the world, putting limitations on things that we have no business putting limitations on. There's an old saying that says it's lonely at the top. Well, that's according to perspective. How about when you're operating on certain levels? Source is going to bring the people to you that's operating on your level. The only thing that stops that from happening is your belief in it. Now you just create a simulation on yourself of limitation. Gods don't have limitations. We are creators. We understand we don't operate with limitation. So when I hear people speak with limitation, I always tell them, now, baby, that's your reality, that's your world. And I'm sorry that you're going through that, but I can't be part of that limitation that you're in. See, in my world, I am limitless. So I will continue to keep creating and doing the things for myself that I know how to do, and continue to keep elevating and continue to keep expanding my consciousness. Because if you guys go and look at my lives I did back in 2020, honey, and you go and look at my lives today, those lives are like night and day. I'm like night and day, different all the way across the board. Because you can't be in this space and not elevate. You can't be in this space and keep talking about the same things over and over again. You have got to elevate. Folks, you ever take notice those folks that come in and say certain things to you, right? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, no one could do this, that, and the third. Okay, well, that's your world. You can't do that. That ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. Because I do it all the time. I do it all the time. That's a simulation you created for your life, for you to have the experience of limitation. And sources are going to meet you exactly where you are. And see, that's another thing, too, I'm going to communicate with you guys about as it pertains to source. When it comes to communication with source, for those of you that have the ability to do that, source is always going to meet you where you are according to your level of consciousness when source is speaking to you, aka the Most High is speaking to you. The conversations are different as your consciousness expands. But source is going to meet you exactly where you are. And then as you continue to expand your consciousness, now you are again having different types of conversations with source. And people that are operating on a lower vibrational level, dimension-wise, will not know this and will not experience this. They're only going to go by what they know and understand source to be according to their own levels of consciousness. And it goes the same way when you're getting information from within. If you don't do enough healing, you're locked out from getting certain types of information. There are certain types of even initiations that one has to go through to get access to different levels of consciousness, whether or not you guys realize this or not. There are certain types of initiations within self that you will go through in order for you to be able to get access to certain types of information on certain levels. This is not a situation where you're just going to go in and get access to it. That's not the way that works. So you heard the term, there's levels to this. There's levels to this shit. A person who has not been through certain types of life experiences, let's say you put in a tremendous amount of work and you went through your learnings and different things, and you got yourself to a high level dimension of consciousness, right? Because you can go as high as you want to when it comes to levels of consciousness. Okay? A person operating on a 33rd dimensional level of consciousness is not going to think like a person who's operating with a 4D mindset. That shit is like night and day. That's why a lot of times now I find myself being very quiet now when I hear people say certain things and not responding to them, because I realize even if I was to bring them a different perspective, they're not even going to hear anything that I'm saying, because they're not even operating on the frequency to even be able to grasp what I'm saying. They're not even on the frequency. They in Lostville. And you see that a lot on social media when you see people making comments and you try to introduce them to new concepts or new ways of thinking. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, that won't be having these conversations with these group of people. There's no way. I'm not going to waste my time. Because I find myself listening a lot more these days than talking. And sometimes I just listen and don't talk at all. Because I assess as to whether or not the individual is going to be able to meet me on my level of consciousness. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about, because there's some of y'all out here that operate on certain levels of consciousness, and you're around people that you can clearly see ain't there, including family members, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to communicate this stuff to your friends. You can't have that. How many of y'all find yourself being in those positions? Well, I would share this with you, but you're not there. So I can't even have the conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all find that like, damn? Gold bricks, yes. Y'all find yourselves on some. Y'all find it cool, y'all with the act. What's going on, fam? Y'all find yourselves on some. You hear people talking, and now you're operating on a higher level, right? So you done got access to some other information that you know would shift that person's thinking if they had the capacity to understand what it is that's being said. But you can see they don't have the capacity. So then you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna have that conversation with them. I'm just gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna let them be right where they are. You got certain people within our community that are stuck with certain teachers, and they recite the same things that the teachers taught from way back in the day, and then dog you out and say, well, my teacher talked about this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, no, your teacher didn't talk about any of this shit that I'm talking about over here. No, that's not what happened here. But I respect your teacher. But no, and then that stuff was distorted anyway. And I don't want to tell you that stuff was distorted. And I don't even want to tell you that this person was false light the entire time. I can't tell you that. Because you're so locked in to who you think this person is versus who this person is, that you can't even have a conversation with these individuals to introduce some new information, because they're going to immediately reject you, cuss you out, let you have it. You're a fraud. You're fake. You're an agent. You're this. You're that. You're everything in the book that nobody wants to hear. It ain't no different than Christians being in church. Anything contrary to Jesus, it's the devil. Anything contrary to your teacher, you're fraud. You're putting out the wrong information. But then I'm looking at your dimensional level of consciousness you're operating on, and you're calling me the fraud. Okay. When you know exactly. Yep, you can always agree. Hey, there's nothing wrong with agree to disagree, but I just don't even find myself saying nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Unless they ask me direct what my opinion is. And a lot of times if I see they're not there, I'm like, yeah, I'm neutral. That's my opinion. I'm neutral. And I'm choosing to stay in that space. How about that? And Marisha, okay. Yeah. There was a lot, listen, let me tell y'all something. There was a lot of false light that was being put out there. You know, that's the thing about going inward. You start getting the truth about all these people, all these authors that wrote these books and stuff like that. And you start going in to get the real answers about stuff. And you start finding out the individuals who are putting out the stored information, which there's two ways to that. But then you find out that certain individuals did contracts with certain individuals in certain spaces. And then you find out that that person was an actual inverter and they taught inverted teachings. And then you're wondering why the person went through the stuff that they went through. No, let me tell y'all something. You see, you are accountable to the things you put out there to the public. Because some of you guys started your roles that you had with Source, but then you started getting ahead of yourself and you stopped putting out the correct information to the masses. And I'm going to tell y'all something about that. Do you think Source is going to let anyone get away with that if you're misleading the masses? And you think there's not going to be any karma behind that? You know, you got to start critically thinking and asking questions about why certain things happen to certain people and why certain things doesn't happen to certain people at all. It is discernment. If you was to take the time out and you started discerning, stuff like that just don't happen. This is what I'm realizing too. There's a lot I could say on this live that I'm not going to say. But there's a lot I could say that would just blow you out the water. But I'm not going to say it. One is for each and every individual to be able to do their own discernment. But I'm going to tell you something. There was things I learned. I'll put it to you like this. There's a story that they put out there about what has occurred and why it occurred, right? Then there's the real story about what was going on behind the scenes that was never brought to the public. You see what I'm saying? There's a story that's put out there to the forefront about certain things that everybody could all agree with because this is what was being plastered out to everyone. But then when you go start doing your own investigations and shit like that, you start looking into some shit and you're like, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to go sit down somewhere and mind my business. Everything is not as it seems in this world. Everything is not as it seems in this world. People are not even who you think they are in this world. I'm going to say it again. People are not even who you think they are in this world. There are individuals that look male that are female. And vice versa. Now, you may be looking at it from a standpoint of, from a physical standpoint, that's one way that they do it. That's one way that's been done. But there are other ways that also is being done. So you be thinking folks is cool with you. You be thinking folks is down with you. You be thinking this and that. And then you don't realize that the people that are around you are really FBI agents, really CIA agents, really NSA. You don't know this. Niggas is playing cool with you like they want to be down with you and all that. And little do you know, COINTELPRO is running heavy. And you don't know COINTELPRO is running heavy. Let me tell y'all something. There's a lot of people that look like you and I that work for these agencies that seek out to infiltrate you. Originals. Listen to me very carefully because your discernment is key. There's a lot of individuals that look like you that are coming to infiltrate you, especially if you're an individual of influence and you're tapped in and you have gifts and you're assistant collective. You are a threat because that's what originals are supposed to do. But there's a lot of them that look like you, but they're not you. They're a danger to you. And if you let them get too close, they'll try to tear your stuff down. And this is funny. Instagram all of a sudden decides we're going to put a timer on me. Isn't that funny? Go here, timer comes on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all for listening to everything that I had to say. Until next time, peace.